This guy makes $125,000 a month mowing lawns and trimming bushes. How much did you need to get started?
Just a couple $100.
Now at just 24, he's opening up his second location.
It's about a $260 job here. It's gonna take us about an hour. My two-man crew did 42 jobs in one day.
We're breaking down this simple, low-cost marketing strategy that generated his first $250,000 in revenue and how you guys can replicate his success even with zero experience. There's a lot of people that are skeptical on. Does that still work for you guys? Marcus, it's good to be with you. Before we dive into your day-to-day operations, tell us a little bit about you and how all this started.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here, Paul. And grew up in Montana. Came out here 2019. Worked up at the Bellingham shop. It was around that time that I was just finishing high school. A lot of my friends and stuff were going off to college, and I thought the same thing. Just gonna go to college temporarily. I'll get like a landscape position because I like being outside, and that basically turned into me having my location here.
So what's the bare minimum, Marcus, that people need to get started in landscaping generally?
If you're a kid just getting started doing it on a weekend or something, you don't need much of anything at all. You know, I would suggest a couple $1,000s to have for marketing and tools and maybe to buy a truck, but if you already have like your parents' car or something, you could make it work. Start knocking on doors, sell your first job, get $500 doing that first cleanup, you know, $50 of that goes to the dump fee, and then you keep the rest of it, you know, pay a little taxes on it, of course. You know, after that is just bootstrapping. The little bit of cash you get to use on growing your business if you'd like to.
Right.
So you don't really need much of anything.
Are we ready to go? Where are we going next, by the way? What are you gonna show us?
Yep, we're going to Mount Vernon City proper to get started with a property cleanup service for a brand new client. So we'll meet with the client,
Nice.
We'll walk through the service, and then just basic cleanup, leaves, debris, and those sorts of branches and stuff. So
Cool.
let's
I'll
get
hop
going.
in with you.
Let's do it.
All right. Pretty typical job, right?
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
plant.
Just gonna be leaves, pine needles raking up, just the backyard. So
Nice.
should be quick and easy one.
What kind of revenue should we expect? And then as far as profit margins, can you share that briefly with us?
Yeah, this one's gonna be pretty much straight margin. We got this guy organically through Google. It's about a $260 job here. It's gonna take us about an hour. So that's pretty good for 1 hour. I don't pay myself as I would an employee, so a lot of this is just straight profits.
All right, for somebody that doesn't know how to price something like this, can you walk us through the process? Do you have to go here physically? Can you just use Google Maps? How does that work?
So for pretty simple stuff like mowing, that's straightforward. We could get that off Google Maps. Our initial visit is just $1.50 per minute per man, which comes out to $90 per hour.
Okay.
So whatever the cost of a initial mow is, that's just
You take it out of there?
Yeah, we take it, we track it accurately. Everything else, as far as like cleanups and stuff, I just have the crew drop by. Hey, get a quick video of the backyard for me. Send it to me. I sent it to the customer within an hour. He accepted, got him on the schedule.
What's the percentage for customers who are repeats versus just one-off?
Yeah, so repeating, recurring clients make up about 65%
Wow.
of our client base.
Okay. Let's talk about the retention strategy. Give us some specific things that our viewers can implement in their business, whether it's landscape or something else, to retain their customers and increase that percentage of recurring customers.
Internally, our unique selling proposition as a company is professionalism. We're quality-oriented professionalism. We have 24/7 communication whenever they need a call. We have card on file, so it's basically like a Netflix subscription for them. Very easy, it gets done, we're consistent.
Hands off, yeah.
Yeah, we're here when we say we're gonna be here. There's just those basic fundamental things that treat these people like human beings and to solve their problem for them. Little things like that. We're always checking on your property. We care about your property more than just the landscaping, so it's kind of going the extra mile for the clients.
Walk us through the year-over-year revenue. Redmond first, I know you bought this. Help us understand the journey so far.
Sure. First year in business for Redmond was 2023. We did just over 200,000 that year. Last year, our second year in business, we did just over 450,000.
Wow.
This year, we're gonna do about 600,000 in revenue. Again, I just purchased this Mount Vernon location, so a lot of the
What
revenue.
was it doing when you purchased it?
We're year to date, they're about 700,000. We're gonna finish the year with about 900,000 for this location. I wanna keep both locations pretty much the same for next year. Redmond doing 800,000, and then this location, if it could just do 800,000, great.
How realistic is it to do this on the side? I'm just really curious. I've got a 9 to 5. I want to get out of it, but I can't step out right away.
You know, just start on the weekends. You get 3 or 4 clients, maybe you mow on a Saturday. Still gives you time to rest on the weekend and then go into your 9 to 5 coming into the next week. And you get that experience with the business, dealing with clients, sending estimates, all the things on the back end, make sure your QuickBooks is good. It's like little by little bite-sized steps to eventually grow a larger business.
What is your average job time and profit margins on the residential jobs like this?
Like this, usually cleanups are 2-3 budgeted hours is what we usually say. Mowing's about half hour, 45 minutes. Whether it's Mount Vernon or the Redmond location, they're both relatively metropolitan, so it doesn't really take us too long.
Okay, and what about profit margins? If this job says $200, how much is actually potential profit before, you know, taxes and all that?
Yeah, on all our jobs, we just try to hit that 20% profit margin. Keep it simple and easy. Some are more, some are less. It's an estimate, right? Not an exactimate. So sometimes it's a lot more than I bought before, and sometimes it's less. And whenever we get supplies and materials, we also mark that up about 20% to keep things so even.
What's your percentage of residential versus commercial? And what are the pros and cons of doing one or the other?
So we do about 95% residential, 5% commercial. There's pros and cons to each. There's a lot of landscape companies that do mostly or all commercial and make a really good killing on there, some of the larger companies. Our bread and butter is residential, easy kind of auto pay system with credit cards and stuff. Whereas commercial, sometimes you're waiting longer to get paid is the one thing. You could go through contracts and stuff. Sometimes it's really hard to fulfill a contract. And just things here and there with insurance, if you're doing a lot more commercial properties or 20 foot up on a ladder for a commercial building, it comes with its own regulations and red tape and those sorts of things. You can do it and you can make good money. We just decide, hey, why not keep it simple?
This is your niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Residential.
Recurring.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, as we finish up here, Marcus, where are we going next? What are you going to show us?
Let's go do an estimate.
Across town?
Yes, sir. Across town, just up the road here, we got, it's actually one of the few like commercial sites that we do. So we're gonna meet with the crew there, do a little bit of spraying as far as a project that we do, and then there's an estimate right by that will meet with the client, walk around the unit, and then get an estimate video, send that off.
Okay, let's do it. Marcus's business is growing like, well, grass. With steady increases over the last 2 years, he's been on track to clear $600,000 in 2025, and he's only 24 years old. That's what happens when you follow a system that's built to grow. That's what you're paying for when you're buying into a franchise like Marcus did. Tested systems that set you up for success and growth from day one. But here's the thing, you don't need to drop tens of thousands in franchise fees to get that same head start. That's where Busy comes in. Busy gives you everything you need to launch your business properly, without hidden fees or fine print. Just one simple setup that covers everything from LLC formation to compliance tracking so that you can forget about getting lost in the weeds and start clean. As a founder-led bootstrapped company, Busy's focused on your growth, not investors. From handling state filings to providing a professional address with digital mail scanning, Busy takes on boring stuff while you stay compliant, organized, and ready to scale. So if you've got an idea ready to take root, plant it right. Launch fast and grow steady with Busy. Click the link below and start building your business today. All right, so this is where we win or lose a customer, right? You just got off the phone with them. Walk us through the sort of the process of estimating this whole commercial area. What are we looking for? Tools that we're using, et cetera.
Sure thing. I'm gonna suggest all the services. Just got off the phone with the client. They say, I want the weeds gone. Yeah,
Plenty here.
There's a lot of weeds to deal with for sure. But I'm not just gonna send a quote for weeding. I'm gonna send a quote for everything we do. Looks like maybe they could use a mulch refresh. Looks like maybe some of these trees could be shaped. Maybe there's some dead growth on the trees we could prune. Maybe we could do that 3 times a year and it's a triannual visit. You see how like we're starting to talk about recurring services and keeping them on the schedule because once we get all the weeds and cleanup, it's gonna grow back.
Now, as far as the invoice and the way the estimate, not invoice, but the estimate shows up, is it, hey, this is what you asked for, this is what it's gonna cost you, and then it's separate add-ons below, or do you automatically blend it in as a way to encourage them to go with that option?
Good question. Personally, we do it a la carte style. We don't do any contracts to where they're locked into certain services for a certain time. We start with the initial cleanup, regular weeding maintenance, triannual trimming, mulch installation. You get to pick and choose what works for you. Very simply online, they toggle on and off what they want and don't want. We get them on the schedule.
The Augusta Buffet. Welcome. Okay, so what was your marketing strategy that made you your first $250,000 in revenue? Break it down for us.
Primarily it was door hangers to start out with, at
Really?
least for the first 6 months. Coming into spring times when we started, which is when we have the most demand. So getting a flyer, door hanger on your door, much more likely to accept.
Yep.
Whatever was left on the schedule, we just filled in with Google ads.
I know personally there's a lot of people that are skeptical on door hangers, print advertising. Does that still work for you guys in this industry?
Yep. We have over
Crazy.
200 franchisees across Augusta Nation, US, Canada, even a few in Australia. Pretty much all the way around, door hangers work well. Again, it's just testing these marketing strategies on your location and seeing what works. For us,
It's proven.
it's proven.
All right, Marcus, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Blitz time with Marcus. Thanks for submitting your questions, you guys. What's your go-to meal after a long day?
Tacos.
Best and worst part of being your own boss?
Best part about being my own boss is the freedom of time. Worst part is you're never off the job, really.
There you go, catch 22. What's the worst lawn you've ever had to clean up?
Ooh, there's many that has like a ton of dog poop and stuff.
All right, if your business was a band, what genre would it be?
Rock and roll, of course.
Let's go. What's the most amount of jobs you've done in one day?
My two-man crew 3 weeks ago, they did 42 jobs in one day.
Best purchase you've ever made under $100 and why?
Yeah, I guess just hand tools.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever found hidden in someone's lawn?
There was a time capsule in somebody's lawn.
That's cool.
Yeah, we couldn't open it, but there was that. Pulling up like pets' graves and stuff, sometimes they forget about that back there.
Okay.
Whoops, but
you'll never know what you find in somebody's backyard.
Some are more morbid than others.
Yeah, that's a wrap. What are some things you look for specifically, obviously, besides the weeds, that helps you price it specifically? Like, I'm not seeing you measure out this whole massive space. You don't know the square footage. How do you hit the jackpot and not, undershoot yourself?
It's tough. Estimates, the bigger they get for scope of work, the harder they are to budget. So you could use metrics like square footage and those sorts of things if you want to. From my personal experience, I just kind of visualize the job. Where do I start? Where do I park? What's my access? How long approximately do I think it's gonna take? And they're estimates, not exactimates, right? So I'm gonna be wrong a lot, but if you're just getting started, you're new to all this, I would say start a stopwatch on your phone. Measure how long it takes, and once you have a good reference, then you could use that for future property. And then even if you're super nervous about like a project you've never done before, just bid it super high. Maybe they don't accept, but like, what's the price to learn? There's always a price to learn. So I would just always keep that in mind. You're not gonna be perfect. Even with years of experience, I still get estimates wrong sometimes.
What is the average ticket price for basic lawn maintenance as opposed to high cost services?
Basic lawn maintenance, I would say roughly is about $50 per week or $68 for every 2 weeks for just mow, edge, and then blow off the hard surfaces. For high ticket items, that could range from anywhere from $800 for like 1 day for a guy, versus if it's multiple days with multiple crewmen, it could go up to, about 8,000 or so for the larger multi-day project.
What do you think this is going to be an estimate for?
For going all the way around this building, I mean, really depends. We could get him an option to scalp down the weeds and put down weed killer and mulch.
Yeah.
We could get him an option to pull everything out by hand. You could see where like you got these price differences.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You know your KPIs very well. What is the customer acquisition cost, and how does that compare to the lifetime value of the customer?
As far as the KPIs go, the client acquisition cost is about $38 per client.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty low usually. But right now we have pretty good brand recognition, so we get a pretty low client acquisition cost.
What about lifetime value?
Lifetime value, as far as annually, usually is about $1,600 to $1,800.
Wow.
If they're just on lawn maintenance, couple simple projects maybe.
All right, by the way, if you guys are interested in Augusta Lawn Care service, we'll leave a link in the description below with a special deal for UpFlip viewers only. I mean, we're done here as far as estimating. Thank you for sharing all the details.
Estimate's done, go type it up and that's it.
What are we doing, spraying the building across the street, I think?
Yes, sir. All we have to do is just spray the building. Pretty simple job, so we'll get right to it.
We'll show you how an upsell happens in action. Let's do it. All right, quite the stark contrast compared to where we came from. So talk to us about the importance of these add-on services for your business. What do they do to the bottom line? What is the percentage of them in your business currently, and so on?
When I said we do about 5% commercial, here's the 5%.
This is it?
So this
what are we doing here?
All this is just we're spraying weeds in the gravel areas. We kind of walk around each building. There's 3 buildings. We do it twice a week. So simple services for commercial, we'll do it. This isn't a contract service. It's just every 2 weeks, come and do it and get it done. And these ones are rare.
Why have them if it's only 5%?
If it's a job that we don't usually do or not in our systems, I'll just bid it higher usually. That way, if they do accept it, we know we're making good money on stuff like this. So
Got it.
simple, spraying, easy. You buy the spray, you spray it, and you're done.
For somebody starting out, should they focus on their core service or offer multiple add-ons as well? And why not? What's your take?
Yeah, multiple add-ons is fine. Whatever you got to do to get momentum starting the business, do that. Stuff that's simple and easy and good money, and you could replicate well and teach new employees once you get to that size.
If you were to start today with only $500 for marketing, how would you invest that today for the best ROI?
Door hangers. Door hangers, flyers, whatever print marketing material. It's free for you to go and just deliver it since you're the owner of the business. The cost of, 500, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 door hangers, very cheap. You get a good template online, you print it out, you get all the print material there, and then it's just a matter of walking. One thing that's very valuable, that's absolutely free, is getting started on Google. Get up to 30 Google reviews. That'll get you great SEO, search engine optimization.
30 is the number.
To get your word out. Yeah, so go do a property cleanup for free. Say, hey, I'll clean up your front yard a little bit if you give me a 5-star Google review. You wanna be, top 3 in your area as far as when people Google lawn care near me, landscaping near me, you wanna be one of the first ones to pop up.
Let's leave some of the other Google review secrets for later, so keep on watching. We'll share more. Obviously, this business is very seasonal. Give us an idea on what's the busiest months, slowest months, and what do you do to manage cash flow?
It's really tough in the winter time when there's, like I said, not a lot going on at all. So figuring out a way to still service them during that time.
Yeah.
For us, it's the recurring winter services. It's raking up leaves, debris, checking their gutters and downspouts, shoveling off walkways, salting, to keep their property looking beautiful throughout the holidays. That's kind of the sales pitch we have for the clients. Instead of spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in springtime to get all this stuff cleaned up,
Right.
we could just maintain it throughout the winter, keep our guys busy, be profitable, and your property looks beautiful throughout the holiday.
You've done a lot of in-person interviews so far, right? And
Yep.
so I'm wondering, what are the most important things when it comes to hiring that other business owners often don't think about?
At this point, I've done hundreds of interviews. My favorite question actually has nothing to do with the technical side of what is their experience. It's, do they have a passion about really anything? Doesn't have to be landscaping. It doesn't have to be business. I ask them like, hey, just outside of this interview, I want to get to know you better. What would you say is like your long-term goal or like your long-term vision? Some people respond and say, just want a job, just looking for some money,
Yeah.
whatever. And then some people are like, oh man, I really want to like start my own food truck one day. That is somebody I want to work with. Do you have that energy when you wake up in the morning? That costs way more than experience, at least in my book.
Well said. Do you think you'd be as successful today without operating under Augusta?
No, not nearly. I'd have a really tough time if I was solo. I have a lot of respect for people that just have their own business. They do all the operations, all the admin and everything. We get a lot of help with the franchise. They kind of take care of a lot of things like website, phone calls from customers and those sorts of things. So we could delegate on, for myself, to do just the sales and hiring, sharp focus, so that everything else is kind of delegated. We pay into the franchise for them to be able to take on those tasks.
Right.
Without Augusta, I don't think I would be in business at all.
Walk us through your Google review strategy. What exactly do you and your team do to get the 175 plus that you have today? And
Between both locations, each of them have almost 200 5-star Google reviews, which helps. Yeah, helps us rank very high. So starting out, what you could do, ask the client in person, hey, can you walk through the service, make sure it all looks good to you? Are you satisfied? Hey, I get a bonus if you give me a 5-star review that mentions my name.
you actually say that?
Yeah, I'd say that to the client and they say, oh man, like you work so hard on my property, thank you so much. Easy. We have even cards with a QR code. Easy, takes 2 seconds. Would you mind just giving me a Google review? Thanks so much. Or we're having a competition internally and I want to win. The boss will take me out for lunch or whatever it is, those sorts of things. And again, incentivizing your employees the same, giving them those QR code cards for them to get 5-star reviews. If they get it, again, they get the money bonus as well as they could shoot free throws for an extra bonus is what we do internally, just to keep it fun.
You're 24, managing a pretty substantial team. What's the biggest leadership lesson that you've learned so far?
Letting them decide for themselves their fate. So obviously we want to train them for their first 2 weeks, but after that, you kind of let them fail because somebody that wants to come in and learn needs to fail first, feel that for themselves to grow as a human, inside and outside the business. So each employee gets a lot of leeway. I don't follow behind them in my truck to make sure the quality's there and stuff. I have a lot of trust in them for them to do the job right. They get paid well for it. And just knowing if we do get callbacks, they got to go take their own ownership and their own accountability for their actions, whether they missed something, broke a window, they get it done.
I'm curious if you're willing to share what you paid for this Mount Vernon location and anything exciting, anything interesting about the process of acquiring a business. Like, what did you learn?
It's $260,000. So I did finance to purchase the business. As far as things I learned, you do the whole due diligence of everything. Fortunately, this was a franchise location that I was purchasing. I was already in the franchise.
Right.
So I'm already familiar with all the systems, all the client database, how everything runs, the trucks, how they're set up and those sorts of things. So it was pretty seamless, I will say. The hard part obviously is going to be paying back that loan. So within a year or two, hopefully this will all be paid off and buy new trucks and equipment.
What kind of financing did you get? Is it SBA or other ways to get this locked in?
Yep, I was lucky. So Mike Andes, the person that owns the whole franchise, he actually owned this location as well himself. He let me kind of do owner financing, so I just pay him back after 2 years.
That's very cool. All right, what were the first 6 months like when you bought the first location in Redmond? I mean, things are not going well, maybe customers not paying always on time. Walk us through that period of time and how important it is just to keep going.
It was rough. A lot of people have horror stories from just starting their business. That's why a lot of people kind of get discouraged. They see your sorts of videos and stuff, they get started, and at first growing the business is really hard. You don't have any clients, zero profit coming in. Just to even get that momentum, knocking on doors, working in the rain was really tough. About month 3 or 4, when I was paying so much on buying new trucks and equipment, both trucks went down at the same time. Ooh. I was out of a U-Haul for a couple weeks while they got fixed and stuff.
What is the biggest expense that new lawn care owners don't often anticipate?
Yeah, it really kind of depends on your state and your county when you actually pay taxes. A lot of new businesses have to pay monthly, and they don't know that. But for us, sales tax is 10.3% in Redmond. So,
and you got to pay that how often for you in Redmond?
Every month. So, you know, if we do 50,000 in revenue, that's 10% of that. It's a little over 5,000. That's tough. Between that and labor and wages, that's a lot every month that you need to keep track of. Cash flow is the biggest deal. If you invoice all your clients at the end of the month, you got to wait, a good 3 to 4 days for that to actually hit your account. So in that short day period, you just want to make sure you have enough money in cash flow. If you need to get like a little credit card just to make sure, you can, but cash flow is king.
How much are you investing back in the business as opposed to just taking profits? And walk us through the importance of those decisions.
Sure thing. So right now we're just at the very end of growth mode. So all the money basically that we started our first 2.5, 3 years has just gone back into growing the business, buying the new trucks, buying the equipment and stuff. So as far as profitability, a lot of that we just throw right back into the business. Moving forwards, since we're trying to have 2 general managers for both locations this year, we want to pay them each maybe about $70,000 base salary plus a good chunk of profit sharing for each business. So if the business is doing well, they make a lot more money. So as far as profitability goes, we want to keep both locations at the minimum 20% profit margins. So every dollar that we bring in spits out $1.20.
How do you motivate employees, especially in this industry, especially Pacific Northwest? It's nasty, cold, and overcast all the time, to stay motivated and care about quality as much as you do? So we pay based on incentive for how efficient they are. A percentage of all the revenue on any job we do just goes back to the employees. So they have a list of jobs. If they're efficient, getting it done quick, they make just as much money, but they're off by 1 or 2 o'clock. Whereas they could start to add more jobs and make more money. Some of our top performers between locations are making mid $40 per hour on average. So it really depends. If they're efficient, they're spending a lot of time at gas stations, the boots are untied when they come here, they're not ready to go, they're gonna make less money. I don't have to manage, I don't have to go follow each site that they're at. I trust them to get the work done, have that quality. If we get a call back, all that time is coming out of their P4P bonus, if that makes sense. Yeah. In year 1, what is the biggest mistake you made that cost you money? And what are the lessons to take away from that?
I would say 2 things. 1, with equipment, didn't do my due diligence on trucks I'm not a mechanic and I don't know what I'm doing. So when I
Did you buy some crappy ones or what?
Yeah, I bought 2 lemons of trucks. I knew kind of had a bad transmission going into it, so I bought it for cheaper, thinking get repaired. There were more things going on with it. Same thing with the other truck, the radiator went out. Didn't notice that during the purchase. That cost a lot of money, of course. Went and got a U-Haul for a week. The trucks got fixed, and let's just say now I do a lot more due diligence at looking at the trucks, making sure they run well, their history of service, and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
I'd say my second thing is starting out, you want to get paid right away, obviously. I did a job for a commercial client and they didn't pay for a good year to 2 years.
What?
This is $1,000 cleanup that I could have been doing other things to get paid right away. This one was like pulling teeth to try to get paid. So I would recommend trying to have card on file, or at least if you're doing a larger project, require a 50% down deposit. That way you get a little bit of money. If you're doing mulch or buying materials, you should have the money before you start the project. And it's pretty commonplace in our industry too. So clients won't really bat an eye for a deposit.
What are the key metrics that you track daily, weekly, monthly, and anything else you want to highlight?
Sure. We look at obviously top line, bottom line revenue. We look at close ratio, what percentage of the jobs that we go to, or the estimates, do we actually close and turn into a client? Client retention that you had mentioned, we keep track of that. There's about 3 or 4 little metrics like time to close. After the initial estimate, how long does it take me to actually give them a call and then get them on the schedule? If you're really quick with that, you're gonna sell a lot more jobs because these clients are looking for a quick solution. They don't wanna wait for a quote. They don't wanna call 3 or 4 different people. If you're right there on the ball, they wanna work with you.
Fastest way to make $100,000 in lawn care?
I would say one-time projects. I'm the big recurring guy and I love that stuff, but simple, easy cleanups, little things here and there that can be cleaned up, instant cash, you could invoice those right away and get paid $100,000 within 4 or 5 months if you're doing it.
Not a big number to achieve, right?
No, pretty easy.
If you're doing that.
Exactly.
What's one piece of advice that had a very positive impact on your business?
I would really say wait for the right person before you start hiring. A lot of people get really busy in their home service businesses. They're swamped and they just need any employee. So they interview one and they're just like, oh yeah, let's get you there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which maybe they are, maybe they're not. I would do your due diligence, do multiple interviews, ask a lot of really good questions, see if they have that spark in them. Even if they're money motivated, that's great because we incentivize. If you're efficient, you're getting things done quicker, they make more money. Steve Sims talks about in his book, Blue Fishing, did they pass the chug test? Which is to say, would you chug a beer with them? Just people you like being around, because if you like being around them, it's a good chance the customers will too.
Yeah.
And if everybody's enjoying the work, being outside, then it's all, a rising tide floats all boats, is the analogy.
Loved hearing how Marcus built his lawn care business? Make sure to check out episode 238 about Andrew, who went from making $13 an hour to building a $2.6 million a year tree service business. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.